know.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get out of there and come here so bad, because you got to win here, and it makes the game more fun. And I think all that pressure is just it's beneficial for my game.
Today we are joined by one of my newest teammates, a guy who was pretty much born and molded to hoop, who was a part of a lot of history in college and is opening a lot of eyes with his play this year, Jerome.
So today we are here with the first of many special edition. We're going to give you some cream with your coffee, and you'll understand why. But you are the inaugural cream. But you're like a hazelnut. Like, you're not regular plain Jane cream. He's like your flavored cream.
Somewhat. Beige, to say the least.
Yeah. Super duper beige. But still, he's a version of cream. And we're talking about Ty Jerome, New York legend, NCAA champion, University of Virginia. My first question to you is, how did you get here on point forward? Like, all encompassing, like everything that happened in your life. How did you get on point forward on this couch?
So from when I was born to this podcast.
I mean, just give me like a 2 minute, not even a 2 minute, the 1 minute, 30-second answer to how you ended up on point forward. Like, how do you think you ended up here? Like, everything that happened to you, like, makes and breaks. And now you're sitting here right now.
For sure. I think I'll pick it up in high school, because, you know, everything that happens before then it shapes you, but it's kind of like, you know. So I think in high school, freshman year, I was a late bloomer. So freshman year, I was like 5'8", started on JV. Halfway through the season, I moved up to varsity, and I just kept getting better and better and better. My senior year, I had double hip surgery. So when I went into college, I was coming off of that, but I did not want a redshirt my first year because I hadn't played basketball in so long coming off the hip surgery. So I was just fighting that. Didn't want a redshirt. So I was saying I was feeling great when my hips were killing me, and we were in practice. At Virginia, you play a lot of defense too. So like all practices were sliding our feet, and it's just a different, like, it's such a change from high school. So my first year, I was getting used to that, trying to get through all that. Had a solid first year. We ended up being like the 5 seed in the tournament, which is a down year for Virginia. And then second year, we're number 1 overall seed, lost to the 16 seed, which I'm sure will come up later on this podcast at some point. And then redeemed ourselves my third year, and we won a national championship. And then I left, entered the draft after my third year. I was picked by, I guess technically Philly, but it was Phoenix. Traded to Phoenix on draft night. I was the 24th pick. Did 1 year there, part of the Chris Paul trade. So I went to OKC. He went to Phoenix and did 2 years in OKC.
I did not know that. Go ahead.
And I did 2 years in OKC. And then after my third year in the league, my second year in OKC, it just wasn't working. Like, the stage they were in, the stage I'm in my career, like, I had to be somewhere. I had to be in a winning culture, somewhere trying to win, not rebuilding, not with 100 picks. So, you know, mutually we said, you know, it's best for both of us that I move on. So, but the day before, like, I was finally going to get waived, they traded me to Houston. So I had no idea, like, that was about to happen.
Right.
And I got traded to Houston. But Houston was cool. Like, they, you know, waived me without an issue. And then I signed here.
Now, E.T., I got a question for you, E.T.
Yeah, what's up, bro?
Just your thoughts on what he said. I don't know that I've seen a team and a player agree to, okay, you know, it's not working out. You know, it's like a very amicable divorce. Like, you go our separate ways, but it's all love.
Yeah, for sure.
You think that's the cream effect? Like, why do you think it happened that way? I've never heard of that.
No, I think you never heard of it, but I think there's unique situations and times, like with franchises. It's like, because I was with the Tank Sixers, and it's like, who wants to be here? Who wants to really
right.
go up, climb this mountain. And to be completely honest with you, it's like you could legit walk away by, bro, I'm straight, but you might not have a home. So I kind of want to know the confidence of you being like, hey, bro, like, fuck what y'all talking about. Like, I see like this isn't working for me or developing as a player. I want to ball. You just bounced around from all these teams and went to a dynasty. You know what I'm saying? And I want to learn about what made you that confident to. It might not seem much to you, but you just left tank to tank to tank to being like, bro, I'm a winner, bro. I don't know what else is going on. All right, cool. Golden State Warriors, let's rock. And you're doing your thing. Like,
for sure.
Is that the upbringing coming from New York City, or is it like where'd you get that toughness from? Because that's not normal.
I think it was a few things, to be honest. I think one, like, if OKC was to say to me, like, I don't want to get it twisted. Like, it wasn't like they said to me, like, you're a part of our future, and I was like, no, I'm leaving. You know what I mean? Like, it was
right.
Like,
it
was mutual. Yeah. Like, they weren't like, we want you to be part of our future. But so it wasn't like I said I'm out. Like, no, they were like, listen, you know, we got to develop all these rookies and second year players. Yep. And I'm like, all right, bro, well then what does that look like for me? And then at the end of the day, I have been a winner all my life. Like, that's part of my game that is, I think, the best part of my game. Like, just being a winning player. Like, it's not like yeah, I can shoot, I can pass, but I'm not a shooter. Like, I'm a winner. And I think when Golden State called, it was just like, wait, I can learn from those dudes and try to impact winning and be ready when my numbers called. And I just had such a different mindset from my rookie year. Like, my rookie year, I was in Phoenix, and that was the first year of like James Jones being the GM and Monty. That was Monty's first year there. And I was in and out of the lineup because I was hurt a lot, you know, whatever. But I wasn't ready mentally of like what the NBA takes. Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, the NBA, like, especially as a young dude, you got to be ready. All right, you might not play 3 games, might not play 4 games. Then you might play 15 minutes one night. And my rookie year, I wasn't ready for that mentally. Right. And I knew I was ready for that this year. So that's why for me, it was like, and Golden State said like, all right, listen, Steph's not going to play 82. So from there, Clay might not play back-to-backs. So from there, I was like, all right, I can get in here, I can get in there, build on it from there. And I was going to be a part of winning culture. So it was just like a no-brainer for me.
No, that's beautiful. Go ahead, E.T.
No, I'm just saying that the mindset right there is crazy enough. So, I mean, that winning mentality, like, you always had a bounce back mentality and everything like that. And earlier you said that we were going to bring up the number 16, you know, losing number 16 seed and everything. You know, we always say it's not where you are, it's where your mind is. Like, saying you're a winner and everything, losing to having one of the biggest upsets in, you know, NCAA March Madness history. How did you bounce back in that sense, in that essence, to, you know, keep the train rolling?
It took a while, bro. Like, them first 2 weeks, like,
we got the first ones to lose.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, you were getting, DeAndre Hunter told me you were getting death threats, and y'all were getting death threats and everything.
We got back to the hotel. It was a cop outside every door.
Oh, wow.
Like, we had to come back, go in the back entrance, cop outside every door. It had like a cop had to walk me from my room to my family's room. Like, it was scary.
Damn.
And we kind of knew the death threats were probably just, you know, someone mad they lost their bet or whatever.
Right.
Like, I wasn't actually scared for my life at any point, but it was rock bottom for sure. Like, it was embarrassing. Like, that's as embarrassing as it gets. Because there's been 2-15, there's been 3-14. Yeah. There's always a 5-12 every year. But to be the first 1 seed ever. And the backstory about Virginia and Coach Bennett is that we're frauds in the tournament. Like, every year, they can't get over the hump. They're a bunch of frauds. So all these articles coming out, like, they, you know, regular season, they're no talent. And so you're just reading all that all summer. And I guess it does one of two things to you. It makes you like, all right, like, work way harder, or you know, shut down. But
Virginia is one of the top academic schools in the country, right?
For sure.
Public schools, for sure. Right?
And you did it. You got 3 years, right?
Yeah.
Do you have your degree? Or are you planning on getting your degree, being that you are a flavored cream?
I'm planning on getting my degree. Mom, if you're watching this, for sure. I told her I would get it. So that's probably the biggest reason.
Mama, I lied.
That's probably the biggest reason I would get it at this point in my life, because when I'm done with basketball, I don't know what I want to do.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what I want to do yet, but I don't feel like you need your degree for a lot of stuff anymore.
Talk to him.
Depending on like I'm not going to be a lawyer. I'm not going to be a doctor at this point. So I don't think you need your degree. Like I think it's more about the connections you're making while you're playing, all that stuff. And I don't think the degree really matters. But me and my mom will continue to talk about it.
We've been having in a very, I don't even know the word I want to describe it as, but a very hostile conversation for weeks on end. And ET and myself, we have a group chat about 13 guys, and the subject is, should you have your degree or not? And one guy that has 7 degrees is adamant about you need your degree. And we have a few other guys who are in very different type of job sectors. We're professional athletes, and another guy's in the art industry, and another guy's in the fitness industry, and we're trying to figure out, like, college would have gotten our way of getting to where we got to go. Like, I did 2 years of college, and I had a bunch of people telling me go back to school for 1 year, and it really wouldn't have helped me. And I was a lottery pick, so why would I go back to school? The only people that would have benefited are those who wanted me to come back. Mm-hmm. And that's been something that we continue to discuss, is does it actually benefit you to have a degree? Because now we're seeing that even with a degree, you're just accruing a lot of debt, and then you're getting what, 50, 60,000 a year. And then how long does it take to pay it back? Then the interest on the loan, mm-hmm. you barely getting the interest off. So you're going to be stuck with that debt for forever. But speaking of, what you want to do outside of basketball, it's in your lineage. Is that the word? Am I saying it right? Lineage to be a coach, because of your father is a pretty big deal in New York.
He's gonna be really happy you said that, bro. When he watches.
No, but you're so this is what I like about guys like you and Moses Moody. Like, you have this humbleness to you, and like, you've had some big games for us this year. Like, I don't think you understand. Like, you had some big moments and some big mm-hmm. games. But like you said, you're a winner, so it's just how you move. Like, all right, I did my job tonight.
Right.
And so off the court, you're similar. You're a sniper though with the jokes, because you got some jokes. Yeah, speaking of sniper, we need to know this BB gun story too, right, ET?
Oh yeah. DeAndre Hunter. Yeah. I asked him. I said, "What do I need to know?" Yeah. He said, "Ask him about his BB gun back."
So before I get to
you weren't
coaching,
going down to Baltimore, fronting your move and shit.
Yeah, so I'm a divert. What's this BB gun thing we've been hearing about?
No way. Damn. I'm about to see Dre too today, because we play Atlanta tomorrow. So
okay.
I didn't know who we were playing tomorrow.
Yeah. So it's our first year at UVA. We're in the dorms, and I don't know, we were bored. Dre, I don't know if he knew he was registering yet or not at the time, but we were bored in the dorms, like looking for something to do. We weren't really going out. Season was starting, so we're chilling, and we go to Target or some store like that, right? Mm-hmm. And we pick up BB guns. And we get back to the dorm, and I walk in the dorm like waving the BB gun, mm-hmm. like in the dorm, and nobody, like, everybody's laughing, like nobody thinks nothing of it, like. And we go back in the room, and all of a sudden, probably like an hour later, like a cop banging on our door, and he's like, "I heard someone was waving a gun in the dorm," and we're sitting there like, right, this cop knows nobody was waving a gun in the dorm,
right? And
if he did, I really hope he would have came a lot quicker than
right, an hour,
right. Yeah. And so I left some parts out, but he just confiscated the BB gun. Dre had his gun sitting like right on the, we walk into our dorm room, is my bed's over here, his bed's over here,
right,
and his BB gun is sitting right on top of right behind his bed. And the cop's looking around, and Dre's deciding, like, do I give him mine, or do I just keep mine? Do I hide mine? And I think he ended up giving his BB gun too. And that was really it. The cops came, took our BB guns. But then, it gets written up or whatever, because cops came to the dorm room.
Right.
Like, our RA at the time makes it a big deal. And
because that's what RAs do.
Right. And in my head, I'm deciding, like, all right, do I tell Coach Bennett, or do I let him find out from someone else?
Mm-hmm.
And I decided to tell him myself, right?
Smart move.
And so I go in the office, I talk to him, and he doesn't take it so well.
Right.
So the next 2 days in practice, like he's killing me. But the RA ends up telling me like, all right, I'm not going to tell Coach Bennett. So then Dre's like, oh, you snitched on yourself. And now
That's good. That's crazy. That's wild.
Yeah. Nah, it was and what made it that much worse is like the climate of what was going on in our country with guns at the time.
Oh yeah.
It's still like what was going on in the country with guns and cops and all that. Like it was extremely not thoughtful of me to bring that BB gun in that dorm room. But looking back on it now, I can laugh at it.
You can laugh at it. So going back to we were talking about where your brain has been and how you've been molded, and we have a lot of different folks on the pod from all different walks of life. Point Forward is not just sports podcast, but it's tech, it's art, it's culture, all encompassing, and just kind of like our backgrounds and what makes us who we are. Like we've had superstar athletes, Dwayne Wade, and then we have guys who have had a different path or different type of stardom as an NBA player. And so you've spoken about 24th pick, traded on draft night. Didn't work out with another team, got traded to another team, got waived, now you're with the Warriors. And just kind of talk to me about, you're still one of the 450 NBA players. Like, you're still different than the rest of the world. It's 8 billion people now on Earth. And you're still doing something that only 0.00001% are doing. Talk to me about your background and the legend of your father and kind of how that has affected you positively and negatively and made you who you are.
Before I do that, let me just give a quick shout out to my mom. So, I throw my
just
mom
from a basketball standpoint. I'm gonna get to moms because I know moms played a big part.
For sure. But I think my dad coached me. So as soon as I was born, he was coaching high school. Mm-hmm. So I was around the game. I was at his games. There's pictures of me like as 1 or 2 years old, like dribbling 2 basketballs at his game, stuff like that. So I was just born kind of into that. My mom played Brandeis, and my dad started at Lafayette, transferred to University.
Oh, your mom was a hooper.
Yeah.
You never told me that. Okay. Yeah. Okay.
So,
okay.
So they both had a part in it. But my dad he coached me. He taught me the game. But the way he coached me, it kind of made our relationship strictly basketball.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Because it was tough, especially me as a young kid. Looking back on it now, I'm thankful for it because I don't think mentally I'm as tough as I am without it.
Yep.
But when I'm a young kid, I'm not able to remove myself from the situation. You know what I mean? So it was like, my dad was my coach, and that was pretty much it. Like, he put hands on me. Like games would get ugly.
Right.
You know what I mean? I would go home to my mom, and they split when I was 6 years old, which at the time was probably good for me because after the games I did not want to see my dad.
Right.
You know what I mean? But like I said, looking back on it, it's like, all right, you asked me earlier, ET, about the confidence and like, all right, I'm gonna bet on myself and come to Golden State. Like it probably starts when I'm a young kid of my dad just I'm 6 years old and playing New York City, he's putting hands on me. You know what I mean? So like you either go one of two ways from that. You either get super tough or you just break down.
Yep. So how do moms play a role in you being who you are as a basketball player, not as a person, but because I didn't know she hooped. So how was that dynamic with moms knowing the game and moms giving you feedback? What type of feedback was she giving you?
Well, first she was the craziest parent.
So you sit here to the side like, damn, you grew up in Beirut.
Yeah. No. Like family dynamic, insane. Like dad was a crazy coach, like insane coach, and mom used to be in the crowd, like white lady in the crowd, probably 2 white ladies in the whole crowd. She's going crazy, like yelling at the refs, getting in fights with fans. And I'm just looking like, Mom, you gotta relax because I'm 7. And like nobody's ready to fight. Like my mom's going crazy in the stands. But it was just like, dad was a crazy hard coach, and mom knowing the game, and being a supportive parent made it a lot easier for me, because it wasn't just mom. A lot of moms are supportive, but a lot of moms aren't able to talk about basketball with you as well.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that dynamic was really helpful.
So I know you bring up your mom a lot. Is that your day-to-day motivation besides being a winner? Like,
oh, for sure.
The bond that you have, what she showed you, you have a lot of love for her, but the same thing that your dad taught you, clearly, your mom is allowing you to elevate as well, right?
For sure. My mom, my brother, my dad. It's a, like, when, you guys know how it goes. Like, when people invest so much into you from when you're young, your motivation every day is definitely, help repay it. So in any way you can.
Now, I like the part of your upbringing, because obviously I think, I think with you, they discuss the eye test in regards to your physicality, your physical gifts, your appearance and everything. And so it seems like everything's been unwavering, because like you said, your dad has always been aggressive with you. You hooped in, NYC playgrounds and everything. And it's like, I'm leaving from here, hooping elsewhere is literally nothing to me, right? That's how you somewhat feel all the time. Like, people are going to underestimate, and I'm gonna show them differently.
Yeah, for sure. I think, and it's New York City definitely helped, but Virginia also helped a lot too.
Yeah,
because I went through a lot of Virginia. Like, first year, everyone, and when you're a freshman in college, or first year we call it UVA, like, you're not built the same as you are 3 years into the league. Mentally, like, that's my first time dealing with national media. You know what I mean? So when I was still being on Twitter reading stuff like, damn, Ty Jones not good enough to play at this level, and as a 19-year-old kid, I'm reading it.
Right.
You know what I mean? And
you don't see that in any other profession.
Yeah, you don't see that in college.
Yeah,
so
no engineers. Like, like no other, like Wall Street people. Like, you don't see any of
doctors.
That.
Yeah, they don't say like
doctors, you can't do that.
Yeah, the doctor, like, this doctor just got a C. Like, no, I don't want my doctor getting a C. I want my doctor getting an A. Okay, that's how bacteria got into my colon. Like,
bars.
You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. And I think so. Just going through that for 3 years at Virginia and learning how to tune the media out, learning how to play through all that, bouncing back from that, historic loss. Coach Bennett is extremely helpful with that stuff too. My sophomore year, I'll never forget, he told us, basically he sat us down, and it sounds like such a simple thing, but he just told us, because we were rolling, like, we were number one in the country, and we were started the year unranked. So we were just having a great year. And he basically told us, like, stay humble. And he sat us down after a practice, and we didn't have a bad practice. It wasn't any reason for it. But he just sat us down, and we're like, do not get caught up in, like, when you're walking around grounds and everyone's coming up to you and they're asking for autographs. Like, do not get caught up in that.
Right.
Because those are the same people that, when you're losing and not doing well, they're going to be killing you.
Yep. And
so him sitting us down, I'll never forget that day, after, when everything was going great, was just a good reminder. And especially for, like, a bunch of college dudes. Because Virginia is a great fan base. And they do show a lot of love, and the students show a lot of love on campus.
Yep.
And just him reminding us, like, all right, don't get caught up in that. And sure enough, we had a historic loss, and there was no more love.
Yep.
You know what I mean?
Yep. Well, I want to jump to, it's kind of this reverse. I don't know what word. I'm going to figure out the right word to use for it. It's the reverse of the minority. So it's like it's the reverse minority. And, your father is biracial, half black, half white, and your mom is white. And so, E.T. was talking about the look test, and we always talk about it. I see you in the gym working on your foot speed, you got to work on your body, because, I always joke fast twitch. You can't teach fast twitch, which is natural in African Americans, because they had us building the country for free for 500 years, but that's another story. And we had to run fast to get away. But I always it's serious, but I turn it into a joke, because as African Americans, like, we have to make laughter out of our situation. But it's kind of reversed now that we're always a minority, but now you're the minority in the NBA, and we always have that conversation of how is it different for a white player in the NBA being the minority, and how was your life as a professional basketball player different than ours, and so. Just, does it change your mentality? Do you think about it at all? when you hear stories about other Black athletes and some of the issues they have, whether on the court or off the court, do you reflect on how that's different or the same for you? Or just kind of the whole race of it all being in the NBA?
I think the biggest thing I think about with that is that most people don't know that I'm mixed. Most people don't know that I have, Black in me at all. So people just assume I'm fully white,
I didn't assume you were fully white.
You did.
I did.
I thought you was Mexican. Because you had that Euro shit in this game.
Nah, distant Native American at best.
But E.T.
But
he had one practice where he hit like 7
got
threes.
shit to him, yeah.
You had one practice where you were killing.
Yeah, I remember.
I'm like,
I remember what you said.
This dude don't move like a white dude. He plays like a Euro type of player. Like he got some swag to him. He had a savviness to him.
Yeah.
Like most white guys just, they want trick ponies. You know what I mean? And he just has so much to him. I'm like, there's no way he's just white.
Yeah, but
and I came out, I was right.
Yeah, but he grew up in New York though. So I mean, even when you remember Chris Mullin back in the day with even his handle, Chris Mullin didn't dribble like. He had some sauce, some swagger to him. You know what I mean? Like, tell him. He just told us earlier he repped the city. He don't be repping that New Rochelle shit. so stop getting them fucked up, okay?
No, but can you tell? Can you sense in the game or just some of the environments you're in around other NBA players that they may underestimate you because of your race?
Oh, for sure. I think it honestly works out in my favor sometimes, and sometimes it hurts me. Like, for example, if I get beat on defense, it's a big deal. And I don't think that's it may be like, oh, he's white, but it may also be like he's just the unathletic part,
right?
Because I think it's
so you end up being stereotyped,
right? Yeah. I think it might be both. It might be like, oh, white and unathletic, because it all goes together. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if I get beat on defense one time, even if I make 9 good plays, the one time I get beat on defense, he can't defend.
Right.
You know what I mean? And coming into the league, that was the whole thing. Like, is he athletic enough to guard guys? And I think that's where it may hurt me, but it may help me because it's like, all right, half the time I check in the game and the worst defender may guard me. You know what I mean? And it's like, all right, cool.
Yeah, you got a lot of shit to your game too.
Yes,
for the worst defender to be playing around with you for real. No, straight up.
Nah, and I think it's, the more good games I have, I think I'll get more and more on scouting reports. But not being on scouting reports is fun.
Yeah,
like,
true,
going under your handoffs and not pressure on the ball.
Yep.
Is easier. It's easy to play. I think that's where it benefits you. But it goes both ways.
What about the benefit of iron sharpening iron? Like, obviously at Virginia, you played with two NBA players, and DeAndre Hunter and Kyle Guy. But now you're going to a place where it's like guard central. Like, not only do you have to perform, but you got to add some shit with your performance. You see Steph Curry does the craziest shit. Jordan Poole, his highlights are crazy every day. Like, now you have to make sure, that standard's coming with, you're flirting with 90, 50, 40, but you really have to shoot at that level and play at that level to really, be part of it.
For sure. I think one of the first things I realized is like, don't try to recreate what Steph does. Like, don't even waste my time trying it. Like, appreciate it. And there's like little stuff you can add to your game. Like, I watched him work out the other day, and the speed he goes at is crazy in his workouts.
People don't know that.
No, like, it's insane.
Yeah.
Like, he cuts like he's in a game.
Bingo.
Like, he'll cut from the right wing and he'll finish a cut and like end up on the left corner and shoot a shot. And then in the game, he runs around like that. And I'm like, oh, no, that dude does it in a practice gym by himself.
Yep.
Like, so I watched that part, and it's like, all right, when you want to implement something, you got to go game speed. But I'm not going to shoot look away threes, and I'm not going to throw behind the back passes from the top of the key to the left wing. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, he plays with a freedom that's like, I can't replicate. But to your point, it is iron sharpens iron, because the expectation of myself now has to raise.
Yep.
And if I play well and we lose, I feel like shit. You know what I mean? But in Oklahoma City, I play well and we lose, and I'm chilling. You know what I mean? And that's part of the reason. That's part of our earlier.
That can save your career too, for real.
Yeah, and that's part of the reason why I wanted to get out of there and come here so bad, because you gotta win here, and it makes the game more fun. And I think all that pressure is just it's beneficial for my game.
Yeah, and also too, I mean, as you can see, even just the game you had on Christmas and everything, like being here for like a month and a half has done far more than like the past 3 or 4 years where you bounced around and you've had some great games and some great moments, but you comprehend the level of different stages.
For sure. And I haven't been on this type of stage since college, which is obviously not the same as this,
Yeah, so bask in it.
True. So I guess, we always ask this question, kind of toward the latter parts of our conversations is, how has the success, affected you from negatively? Like a lot, suffering from your success is what we always talk about, just friends and family more than anything. You meet new family members, you grow and you become smarter and you see different things and other friends just don't grow with you, kind of as examples. And so, with saying all that, has it affected you? And I guess, what is your definition of success as well?
Right. I think the first part of that is I'm very fortunate. Like in my opinion, like the support system I have around me, like my parents, my girlfriend, my brother, my close friends, like none of them have changed. None of them have asked me for anything. I almost have to remind my parents, like, here, like,
right.
You know what I mean? My dad may get a little carried away. Like
that's the black in him. Yeah. That's the part. That's
no, you owe him. You got your talent because of him.
But it's never like he's not, asking me to buy him this, buy him that.
Right.
Everything my family does stems from love.
Right.
You know what I mean? I think I'm very fortunate. I haven't met a ton of new family members. And I also learned how to say no pretty quickly. And that's something my dad told me pretty quickly. You know what I mean? Like learn how to say no pretty quickly. And I think, another thing is, to your second question about my definition of success, is that it's constantly changing, right? Yep. So like when I was in high school, my definition of success would probably just be being here.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then as soon as you get here and a few things, I bounced around a little bit and it's like, oh shit, like I'm so far from where I want to be in this league.
Right.
And then it just changes. Yeah. I think I'm glad I was able to have that wake up call and be like, look, like this is not, if you relax, like it's going to be the end.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And I think it's constantly changing.
We have a segment in our show called Guns and Butter. It's not like the macroeconomic, principle, but it's basically from a movie that we watched, Baby Boy, the part with Ving Rhames when he's talking to Tyrese, discussing, the importance of micro decisions and how those fare in the long term. So what were some micro decisions that you made early on that, you got you to this point and you believe will get you even further?
Just in daily life?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, leaving a girl or whatever it was.
Like one of those small decisions that you didn't know, like, man, looking back, that baby-ass decision changed my life.
Yeah, like not red shirting maybe, like who, you know what I'm saying? Like fighting a red shirt, getting a, you know what I'm saying?
Going to New Rochelle, running from New York, goon.
Yeah. Being scared of that subway and, getting picked up and going to a safer neighborhood. Like what was it, bro?
Oh man. I don't want to dodge the question, bro, but
or ask or having a great conversation with OKC. Like I'm seriously like, I am so, I don't know. Like I'm a loss of words. Like I've never heard of that. I've never heard a guy tell a team like, listen, we're going and let's just go our separate ways amicably. Like you never hear that. Like I've heard stories of teams bad mouthing the guy because they didn't want to see him have success somewhere else because they couldn't get the most out of him. I've seen coaches do it. I've seen players bad mouth teams and go about it the wrong way. Like you never hear about it. Like, okay, y'all go this way, I go that way. Appreciate the time. You hear about it, but very, very rarely.
Well, part of OKC was like, that was the first platform I got in the NBA. Even though we may have been losing and we may have been tanking, like how it was in Philly, bro. Or you guys both do, I guess. I read that book, by the way, Built to Lose. Yeah. So your name was both of you, but that was the first platform I got. Like I didn't really get a platform in Phoenix.
Yeah.
So I was still grateful for my time there. Like it may not have ended how I wanted it to, but I was still grateful. Like they gave me my second year in the NBA 20 minutes a game for like 40 games.
Right.
And that bought me like another chance. You know what I mean? So I wasn't like, it wasn't all bad. Like,
no, that's what I mean. Like it's not, that's what I'm saying. It's not bad at all that, hey, like, let's just go a different rate. I think that's a great thing. Like, I appreciate y'all, what y'all did for me, and I know y'all appreciate what I did, and then they kind of helped you go somewhere, and you said, okay, cool, let's, it's kind of like Bob Myers and I always talk about it. He was like, Andre, I'm so shocked at how you responded when we traded you. I'm like, bro, like, I've been treated much worse, bro. Like, this really ain't that big of a deal.
Especially in Philly, yeah.
Exactly.
Right, like, when you leave Philly, like, everything is great.
Yo, they gonna kill us.
Fuck it. I clearly don't care at all. Like, clearly.
You read the book. We were trying to lose, but except we didn't know it.
Was the book crazy? The book, I never read it, but was the book crazy?
Bro, one of the funniest parts in the book is there's a part in there where it talks about how Sam Hinkie did not come into practice ever. Like, he did not speak to you guys ever.
Ever. And, he walked right past us. Yeah.
Yeah. So they said one day in practice you saw him and you were like, hey, like nice to meet you, bro. Like, yeah.
You play for the 76ers. Yeah. This is your big man. He's been here for 3 years. He's from Temple. Hey, at one point I was supposed to be the franchise. You're probably trying to move me. This guy's backer, Drew Holiday. Yeah, you're fucked. You traded him for Nerlens Noel. Yeah, that was wrong. I don't know how this works, but you're stuck with me if you don't know that now. Okay, like, legit. But that really happened. That was crazy.
Yeah, no, that was in the book. I remember I'm reading on the plane. I forget where I'm flying to, and I'm cracking up, bro, because it's just reading it and being on a tanking team gave me so much more perspective. You know what I mean?
But not only that, but you sitting here and, like, when you're tanking, you're like, damn, G, when I was a shorty, like, I thought I was gonna have Mamba mentality. I thought I had 7 championships, and literally there's somebody sitting here like, yo, fuck whatever part of your career. This is it really shows you the part of the NBA, and it's like, wait, this is really a business. This is Hinkie doesn't care about anything else besides, how rightfully so, how he's going to build the next level of the organization. But it's a tough game, as you learned.
I'm also happy, I think fortunate, that I went through that in year 2.
Yeah.
Because it gave me a new perspective on the business, like you talked about. And you start to realize early, like, it's a business. Like, some people are in year 5 and they have no idea about the business of the NBA yet. They've been on one team for 4 years or one team for 5 years, and they don't understand it's a business, bro.
Right.
Like, the perspective you were able to have when you got traded from Golden State, and now you came back here and won again.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Right.
But, like, some people can't put their, and I feel like you're a prideful person.
Yeah.
But you understand, but you can be prideful, but you can also be smart.
Right.
And you can also know, like, all right, it's still a business. And I think going through that in year 2 gave me that perspective early.
Yeah.
And it also allows you to find your niche. You understand what I'm saying? So, like, when it goes back from it, as long as you're open and aware, and it's like, okay, I guess I won't be a 25-point-a-night scorer right away. But I can find a niche where they're going to allow me to get through the door. And it's like, in the NBA, sometimes, like, this is your assigned role. This is what we're willing to pay you for, and that's it. Like, and I think when you're vulnerable and aware enough, you're able to build and make a beautiful role. Like Andre, you're able to do and Ty, what you're currently able to do.
And I also think that was one of the hardest things for me to realize in my second year and third year, because even now, when you're playing a role, but everyone's role is to do everything they can to win this game.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's the most fun way to play basketball.
Yes.
Yeah.
And when I was in Oklahoma City in year 2, I had to remind myself, like, the most important thing is not winning this game.
Yeah.
And all my life,
mindset.
You know,
and
what
that's
I'm
a
saying?
pro, and that's being a pro. It's real. It's real.
And it's like, if I was doing everything I can to win that game, no, like, that wasn't the thing in Oklahoma City, because they wanted to lose in year 2 when I was in year 2.
Yeah.
Year 3 was a little different, but year 2, the end of the year, was like straight up, they weren't hiding it. We want to lose. So my whole focus is like, all right, I got to be super efficient.
Yep.
I got to be super efficient. And of course, I still play winning basketball, but I got to be efficient. I got to pick my spots. I got to shoot the ball well. I got to throw the ball ahead. I got to be unselfish. It's like, all right, like you said, what's going to be my role on the next team I go to almost.
Yep.
And it's like it's a sick way to play basketball, bro. Like,
it definitely shows you, when you break it down, it definitely shows you, I guess, how good a basketball player you are, because you can adapt. And you're like, okay, I guess this is what makes me a pro, because I'm working at a high level and trying to succeed in something that's outside of my comfort zone. Like, you're used to having the ball for 45 minutes, playing a pick and roll. At Virginia, when it's coming down, down to the crunch time, you have 2 All-Americans, but you're handling it. Now it's just like, nah, dog, this little French kid, I don't care what you say, but he's supposed to be dribbling. Right. You give him the ball and you spot up, you shoot and get it how you live. And but much respect to you. You found a niche and you open up more opportunities, and that's what top guys do, and that's what winners do. So
appreciate it, bro.
And if you keep doing all these successful things, you're gonna have a change, just like Evan.
Hey man, you never know, bro.
Dude,
you never know.
This is an interesting topic. I've had a couple conversations with some GMs, some of my favorite GMs, my good friends. Bob Myers, I'm gonna shout him out, even though he keeps dodging me on the pod. The chain thing. How many white players do we see with chains, if any? Do we see any?
Look, bro, I believe Luka got a lot of chains. They just hide the hood part of them. Like, that's what I believe. Like, do you understand what I'm saying? Like, they're not going to show that part. But to me, not even with white players, like, their chains are different. It's like random. It's like golf clubs, Patagonia. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, random shit like that. Like,
but the tie is from New York. He's seen it. Like, why don't you have any jewelry?
I got 2 tennis chains. I got.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, bro. You see his shoe game, bro. This dude be getting drippy, bro. This man,
I know.
He got a black side to him.
He got that JP swag.
Yeah.
I just more like, I mean, you see me now every day. I'm just always in sweatpants. Like I just stopped putting effort into basically all the.
But you have a natural style to you.
Oh yeah,
his
for
style.
Sure.
Like
for
he
sure.
be having all that. Even his sweats are like drippy. I'm like, those sweatsuit or whatever you call it now, whatever they call it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I feel like how you come to the game, it doesn't matter, bro. Like, I can be in sweatpants, but I'm not just gonna roll out of bed and come to the game, bro.
Right.
Like, that's a little, like, you know what I mean? Like, you're still.
I mean, it's fine line. Dre wouldn't even wear team sweats. When I met Dre, he refused to wear the team sweats. So they be like, yo, wear team sweats on the plane, this, that, and the other. Dre would be in purple label. Like, dripped up in like an $8,000 fit. Like, I'm not wearing that shit. Like that.
Dre was on that his rookie year?
No. This is
I'm talking about.
This is when he was a rookie.
When I was a rookie, Iguodala. Yeah. The
I was
original
talking about Dre Hunter, bro.
Oh, no,
I'm
D
like,
Hunter.
No way.
No, I had to mold him. I had to raise him, bro. I didn't know what the fuck he was wearing, bro. I'm like, bro, what? I'm like, bro, these fat daddy ass jeans. What are you doing? He was like, huh? Now I'm talking about Iguodala. Yeah.
No, I can see this Dre doing that for sure, bro.
Yeah, for sure.
I'm not wearing team sweats. I'm not wearing none of that.
Now I'll wear team sweats to practice.
Yeah, no, you will. But I also feel like right now I really wish I could have seen you like 5 years ago. Because right now you're on such of like I'm helping everyone, but you also do not care what anybody has to say. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
Like in a good way. Like you are living as freely as you want.
Yeah, I got that old man syndrome.
You know what I mean?
I'm like, I'm not PC anymore. Like my other job that I do, I have to be PC. I got to be on. The brain has to be activated. Like I'll think something and be like, stop thinking that. I don't even think the things that I say in my other space.
Right.
And it's just because like we've been talking about this, this mental health space that you have to be in to be a proficient athlete, right? And no one talks about it. But your brain goes through so many deep, dark places. And I'm like, the NBA is taking me to some deep, dark places. And it's putting me into some difficult situations in life. But like you said with your father, you needed it to help you get to where you actually want to go, however you define your success. And so like, yeah, I appreciate it. I needed it, but it messed me up mentally. And now I'm just in a place like, listen, as long as I'm in NBA as a player, I'm saying what the hell I want. And some of y'all gonna get it. You might just catch the wrong raft on the wrong day and you're gonna have to take it. That's just this is how it is.
You've been warned.
But fam, I appreciate you. It's been a dope conversation.
Thank you.
And thank you for the inaugural cream with coffee.
Yeah, and keep doing your thing, bro. We rooting for you, for real,
for sure,
man.
That.
Yeah, for real.
That.